It's somehow peculiarly fitting that Joan Williams, also known as my Nana, became a collector of cookbooks. The oldest books in Nana's collection are from the mid-50s and inscribed Joan Bontemps. The last books are from 1998, the year we lost her. In the 40-plus years she collected, Nana moved from ordering cookbooks like Thoughts for Buffets and Thoughts for Festive Foods from the Book of the Month Club to ordering books like Raymond Oliver's La Cuisine from Kitchen Arts and Letters, a lovely shop on Lexington Avenue frequented by the nation's finest chefs, food historians, and food writers, including, I assume, many of you. At the time of her death, Nana's cookbook collection consisted of well over 1,000 volumes. Slipped into her books were library card catalog cards, clean paper napkins, old bills, pages from mail order catalogs, envelopes from my grandfather Avon's law office, invitations, program luncheons, birthday cards, medical education sheets, and whatever other ephemera she had on hand to mark the place of the recipe that intrigued her. On some of these bits and pieces, she had written grocery lists, to-do lists, menus. She was too much of a librarian to actually write in books. Though apparently my father didn't mind, I recently found his name childishly scrawled in crayon on a copy of The Joy of Cooking from the 1960s. Most of her notes were on old library card catalog cards. Without marring a page with ink or food spatters, Nana left abundant traces of a loud and public life centered around feeding and entertaining our family, friends, and a community of Black politicos and civil rights crusaders, while privately and quietly reading about food and collecting her cookbooks. Her collection kept her sane even as white supremacists bombed the home of her husband's law partner, Z. Alexander Luby, in 1960, or harassed my grandfather with death threats and burning crosses in their yard well into the 1970s. In the 1980s, Nana and Grandpa renovated 1818 Marina Street, doubling the size of their house by creating a huge kitchen, complete with fireplace, sitting areas, dining area, and bar. Over a third of the house was kitchen space. But between the back door of the house and the fireplace and the kitchen, great room, they added a guest toilet. Why am I telling all this? Because Nana carefully collected local chapter junior league cookbooks, and she kept her junior league cookbooks in that guest toilet. She conscripted the pretty spiral-bound volumes of the Junior League cookbooks into the service of constructing a political statement at once ladylike and lady assaulting. As she chose to shelve them, the Junior League volumes provided decoration, potty reading, political commentary, and a healing belly laugh to anyone whose mama's mama had worked as a domestic or in a master's kitchen. That this belly laugh was also a librarian's laugh is pure Joan Williams, it's pure Nana. Who but a brown girl, who but a summa cum laude Fisk alumna, who but Harlem Renaissance poet Arna Bontemps' firstborn child would think to create retribution with a simple act of shelving and locating a category of books? Placing the Junior League books in the toilet, publicly insulting Miss Anne, was an act of open defiance toward social norms. It was an act that flirted with, but did not descend to desecrating books. Though, when we put them in our kitchen, we did Lysol them before we integrated them back into the larger collection of our kitchen. That Nana's joke took the form of shelving allowed her in this one space to eclipse her father's towering presence as a librarian and poet, even as it recast her understanding of the feminine performance of domesticity, to reflect her own skills, her own preferences, her own history. She left the cookbook collection to me, her firstborn grandchild, and only granddaughter. It was the only specific item she left to any family member. Her will was 1 page long. The only specific thing she left to me. It is my inheritance, it is my dowry, and it has become my primary workspace. I spent a long time thinking of my cookbook collection as one unit, a sort of continuous, massive wall adornment, rather than a living, interactive guide to my grandmother, her passions, and as I've come to know her better, her work.